first thing you're going to want to do is open the app. Once you're there, you're going to click on Sensor Data Collection. Make sure that your sensor is turned on. It will be blinking red. You can look on the back and find out which sensor you have and match the code on the back to the sensor that you have. Once it's connected, you'll know that you're connected to the correct sensor because it will blink green. You can click Done. This is the basic page on where you'll find things. So in order to change things, go in the lower left-hand corner where it says Mode. All right, you do want to stay time-based, but you can change your rate that you want it to collect samples. If you would like to change that to, 5 seconds per sample, you can do that. Make sure that you end collection manually. If you do not do that, then it will stop it before you're done. So as you can see down in the lower right-hand corner, the temperature in this room is 23.9. I'm gonna go ahead and start collecting the data. I'm gonna take my thermometer and I'm actually gonna put it in the freezer. If you want, you can click up here and you can show the data table as well as you're collecting your data. So there's that data table and you can see it's collecting data every 5 seconds. So the temperature is going down and it's graphing it for me and it's collecting it on this data set. Now I'm gonna let it run just a little bit longer. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about this data, so I'm gonna click Stop. So once you're done, you have your data here. You can click in the upper left-hand corner. You can save this experiment, but what you're going to want to do is export the experiment as a CSV. You can then share the CSV into Microsoft Excel. Once it opens in Excel, you're going to notice that you can save a copy of it. You're going to probably want to save it to your OneDrive. From there, now you can edit things, right? My data set 1 says time. I'm going to go ahead and just make this a little bit clearer and call that time. And my data set is then temperature. And this temperature is in degrees Celsius. Once you have this data, now you can make graphs out of it, or you can share this data. Let's talk about sharing first of all. If you would like to share a link to this data, just go to the share arrow. Here you click share and you can change it to people within your organization. And you can make it a view only if you want. So you can apply there and then you go ahead and copy that link and that link has been copied and you can paste it into your Microsoft Word document. Just make sure that if you're pasting it into a Microsoft Word document, I know what this data is. I know where this data is from and what I'm going at if I'm going to click at it. In addition to that, you can use Excel to make a graph. You're going to click Insert. It's called a chart. We probably would like it to be a scatter graph is a nice place to start. I like to choose just the dots because that way, if I want to make a smooth curve, I can do so pretty easily. Go to Elements, click Trend Line. And so I want to make sure that I put some axis titles on there. I want a horizontal axis title and I want a vertical axis title. And that temperature is in degrees Celsius, should be time. And that's in seconds. So that means that data down at the bottom is important in this case. Those are called legends, right? So I can get rid of that legend if I want. So maybe you collect more data. Go to sensor data collection. Make sure that I am connected. I want to go back to mode. I'm going to change my interval to that same 5 seconds again. Those have to match. If your intervals do not match, this will not work correctly. So make sure they match. Going to click done. And then I'm going to go ahead and again collect the data. So we're going to stop. Going to go ahead and do the same thing. Go here, export, export as a CSV. Sharing the CSV, it's as a text document right now, but I'm going to go ahead and open it in Excel. You will notice it's going to open another read-only copy. If you'd like, what you can do is you can take this entire data set and you can copy that data set into the Excel file that you were working at before. So if I paste that in there, you can see here we have our time. And again, the only reason this worked was because I did use the same time interval as before. I have this graph that I made before that had just one thing on it, but I'm going to go ahead and delete that graph and I'm going to make a new graph now. So I'm going to select all of this and I'm going to insert a chart, scatter, and there are my two color-coded trials. You can see the blue one is trial 1, and then my orange one is trial 2. The only thing I need to add here is I need to make sure that my chart title makes sense. And then here you also want to make sure, again, you have those axes titles. Okay, so now I've got my data. I have a really nice graph here that has all of my two trials of data in it, and you can very clearly see what I was doing. You can just copy and paste this if you would like. And then as far as the data can be linked if that's easier.